Hello, this is Leon Mika, the developer of Audax Tools, and in this video I'll show you how to use Dynamo-Browse to view items of a DynamoDB table. So let's begin. Okay, so after installing Dynamo-Browse, you can launch it by typing in Dynamo-Browse. So if I were to launch this command now, Dynamo-Browse will use the AWS credentials in your environment to connect to DynamoDB in AWS itself. But I'm actually going to cheat here and connect to a DynamoDB mock server that's running on my local machine. I can do so by using the local switch, which takes a host name and a port. Here I'm just using the port number because the host name is localhost. So let's give this a go. So first thing Dynamo-Browse will do is get all the tables that you have permission to view and present them to you in a list. You can use the up and down arrows to move the selection indicator and the slash command to filter. So if I'm only interested in the tables containing the word user, I can press slash and type in user. Pressing escape will clear the filter. And if you want to view a table, just press enter. So first thing Dynamo-Browse will do is get an initial scan of the items in the table. It only scans the first 1,000 items of that table, so for really large tables, it won't blow out your memory. First thing you'll see when you launch Dynamo-Browse is the items of the table presented in this view mode. So there's two parts of this view mode. The top part are the items in the table presented as a table. So each individual column is a top level field. And the fields of the selected item, the item highlighted in pink, are presented to you in the lower pane. So as you move the selection indicator, you will see the fields change in the lower pane to be what they are in the selected item on the top table. So moving around the table, you can use the up and down arrow keys to move the selection indicator up or down. You can also use the keys I and K to do likewise. Pressing Shift I or K or page up and page down will actually move the selection indicator by a page. And to move to the top of the table, you can press the 0 key, much like Vim. And to move to the bottom of the table, you can press the $sign. Now, you can also move left and right. And what this will do is actually show you columns that appear to the left or right of the columns that you see here. So if I were to move left or right, I would see, for example, the address column, moving on to cities and colors and names and open offices and phone, and basically the other top level fields of the particular row. I can also use the keys J and L to do likewise. So I, J, K, and L act like a bit of reverse T arrow key, much like the arrow keys. And that just allows you to keep your hands on the keyboard to do other operations. So that's how you move around the table. Let's say I'm only interested in seeing rows that contain the word Portland. So to do that, I can set a filter. And to do so, I press the slash key and I can type the substring that I'm interested in filtering on. So if I were to search for Portland, if I were to filter on Portland, sorry, I would only see the records containing Portland somewhere in the top level rows. So there's Portland there, there's Portland there, and each of these rows will have Portland somewhere. So one thing to know about filters, they only work for rows that are currently in the result set that you're seeing. So it doesn't actually do a search on the table in AWS. So this is So it's meant to be quite fast and reasonably low sophistication, but it won't get you all the results of the particular table. If I were to type in a empty /key, I will get all the results again. I'll clear the filter. So because filters only work in the results that are currently in the results set, if I was interested in actually getting all the results of the table that have a city set to Portland, I can actually run a query. So to do that, I press the question mark and I type in a query expression. So here I'm typing city equals Portland. And what this will do is actually do a scan of it actually does a scan on the DynamoDB table to return all the records that contain where city is set to Portland. So that's what shows up here. And again, much like filters, if I were to enter empty query, I'll get the initial scan again. And that's basically how you can view items in a table. One last thing you might want to know, if you want to quit, much like Vim, you can use Q. Oh, one last thing. So I'm entering commands by pressing the colon key, a lot like Vim. And there are a bunch of commands that are available to you. You can look at the documentation to see them all. But one important one is Q to quit. And this will close the tool. And you can also quit using the escape key or Control-C. So that's the basics of using Dynamo-Browse to view items in a DynamoDB table. Thank you very much for watching, and I will see you later.